Hey, it's Werner, and this is Finding Frequency. What can I share? I've been trying to record and think about something to say and something to share that might be meaningful to you for the last couple of minutes. Well, I've been thinking about it for the last couple of hours as I'm sitting here working on things. And there's not much I can add. Only the fact that we are still sitting here in the midst of a lot of snow. It's still coming down. And it's really interesting to look out of my little window here of my apartment and to see the snow actually gather on the road. It's always an indication for me where the cars are driving that you always see the tar, and now you don't. And it's kind of in the middle of the day, buses are going back and forth and delivery trucks, and the snow seems to gather up. There's always people outside trying to scrape it away. And in a way, I can understand why they're doing that, and it's a great service they are providing, but it's also annoying because I love seeing this blanket of snow. And I must say, between you and me, I've been sneaking out in the balcony because it kind of gathers on the balcony. And when I feel brave enough, I go out and I just go and touch the snow a little bit. That's weird, right? Touching the snow. But it's for me still, even after being here for 5 years, an interesting concept of snow. It's not something that we are as South Africans are really used to. Of course, the accompanying chilliness is less enjoyable, but what a strange thing snow is, right? Kind of this combination of water and ice, and it just comes down all soft and fluffy. It's really a wonder to observe. But then also this whiteness turns into slush, and then everything is just covered in mud. And it's always a joke that, Polish cars always look run down and dirty. And it's really about the snow vibes because, even when it starts melting and it just kicks up all the dirt from the road, and everybody's cars always look like super destroyed after a session of snow and kind of this kind of weather. So interesting times. What else can I share? I sit here in my little office and I'm slowly kind of hammering through work, trying to do some of my own projects. In between, I'm not being super successful, to be honest. I'm kind of in this weird rut at the moment of kind of working, procrastinating, working, spending time with Francie, deflecting my wife's wishes to go on parties and holidays, all kinds of things. She's really kind of on the vibe to try and capture some kind of remnants or semblance of normality in the sense of connecting with other people, which is a bit frustrating for me because I'm always the guy that says, no, let's just not go down this road. It's also difficult because, even if you extend the invitation, that in itself, I feel it's potentially irresponsible, but also it's not great because, you're putting someone else in the position of saying no. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the person who forces someone to do something they don't want to do. And I feel like in this pandemic situation, that is exactly it. It's a bit awkward extending invitations to people, and especially if those people aren't really part of your bubble. And I feel it's kind of unfair because you're leaving it up to them to make a decision about their health and wellness. And I don't like it. And I don't like being the person saying no all the time for this kind of stuff. And the boring guy. But I don't know. I still feel and cling on to this thing that we just need to be patient, and then we need to kind of discover our own extraordinary. And if you can't find it within the walls of your own home, I don't know how you're going to find it anywhere else. Of course, I want to go out. I want to go enjoy the snow, and I want to go and drink hot wine and all these things and walk around. I mean, I really miss going to Krakow during the winter. They always have these kind of, in their main square, you can go and buy mountain cheese and mountain slippers and all kinds of things that you will never use again, but you can enjoy it there. And just that vibe is always something that I, enjoyed about Poland. Even in Warsaw here, when you go to the old town during this winter time, there's always something nice to eat, some wine or beer or, kind of wintry things. And now it's not there. And I don't see the point of going to these places if you can't enjoy these things. Now you have to flip it around to figure out how you can enjoy yourself. And it's difficult, especially if you have a partner who is kind of losing her mind sitting in here at home. And it's difficult because I think you need to find that kind of happiness in yourself. I mean, this is probably a bad thing to ask, but, if you're in prison, and how do they learn to cope with being in that space so long? I mean, I think, the one thing that helps a lot is reading and, trying to improve yourself through learning, because within your mind, and maybe that's my problem, is that in my mind, when I close my eyes and I think and I listen to audio or read or whatever, in my mind's eye, I get taken to all kinds of things and I get all kinds of experiences. And maybe that's a bit of a South African thing, because for a long time, traveling, I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't travel outside the border at all. I mean, I left South Africa for the first time when I was in my 20s to go play sport. I mean, if it wasn't for that sport, I would probably not have done that. But traveling outside of South Africa wasn't really something we did or could afford, or, and if you go even further back in our history, where could you go? Sanctions and all these things. So you had to make do with what is around you. But then also for a lot of it's like the adventures that you built in your mind, your mind's eye. And maybe this pandemic is also helping us to reignite that a little bit, because you can have many adventures even without leaving your home. The only problem with that is it's just more effort. And unfortunately, with more effort and more attempts of doing things, failure comes along and frustration. And who wants to deal with that if you can just pay X amount of money and go somewhere and know what you're going to get? So maybe we've become a bit complacent and comfortable even in that space. But this is not meant to be a finger point at anybody or whatever. I think, I have empathy for everybody struggling, being frustrated and, like me, kind of. I'm also a bit lost, but without trying to end this podcast with some kind of cliche, I would say maybe the one thing is to just try and figure out what is that cadence. Like for myself, it's switching on this recorder and talking to you. And for my friend Roman is writing articles and content. My friend Terry is creating videos all over the place. My friend Tammy is just chipping away at doing her podcasts. My friend Jens started his own project where he's helping people to try and innovate, and he's just keeping up with that cadence. He's posting content every day. He's giving an update. In fact, I'm going into a podcast with them tomorrow just to have a conversation. So I think we're all kind of trying to deal and figure out things, and perhaps it's like choosing something and then just keep on doing it. Well, you probably heard my watch pinging here at the background. So that's my client wanting to talk to me about something. That's also something I'm grateful for, because it keeps me out of trouble and keeps me doing this. So let me go see what they want and have a little bit of fun over there. Also stops me from talking even more, right? So keep strong over there, and thanks for listening.